Today in Across the Fence, walking the walk with a weight management program that's focused on teenagers. We'll see how the program helps fight off obesity by teaching young people about the importance of exercise and good nutrition. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. With childhood obesity in this country at an all-time high, professionals at the University of Vermont have launched a unique pediatric weight management program. The program, called Reward Teens, has several components, including professional oversight, high technology, and a requirement that a parent be part of the program. To learn more, we begin at the UVM Physical Activity and Wellness Center with this report from Across the Fence's Keith Silva.
As long as you can.
When Dr. Connie Tompkins says she's going to run a test in her lab, she really means it.
We did a VO2 max test, a 12. Okay. We're monitoring her heart rate. We're also looking at oxygen consumption. So it gives us an idea of how long a person would be able to sustain exercise. And we basically just increase the intensity over the time until they can't go anymore. So you can stop it when you feel cooled down.
For every test that measures the body in motion, there's another test that studies the body at rest.
The astronaut hood, that's a resting metabolism test. This one we do 30 minutes where they just lie completely still as if they were just resting, not sleeping. We can look at that 30 minutes and figure out how many calories they burn a day if they were just completely sedentary.
These exercises are part of UVM's Reward Teens Weight Management Program, a research study for children ages 12 to 18 that promotes weight loss and teaches participants how to make healthy choices about the food they eat. The participants being put through their paces in this training session are all UVM students who will be working on this study with Tompkins and Amy Nickerson, director of UVM's Masters in Dietetics program.
The students that were in the simulated clinic today, they are on the cusp of graduating from their program, and they'll be registered dietitians soon or an exercise physiologist. And a good part of their work as nutrition professionals will be helping people to lose weight and manage their weight because of the connection to all of the chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease and arthritis. And we do promote whole grains.
Nickerson uses props to show the correct serving sizes for different foods. Gaining a better understanding of portion size is one of the key ingredients to this program.
Portion size is a really difficult concept to grasp. The manufacturers have done a good job of derailing what health professionals would think is a healthy portion. 12-ounce container of juice, for example, we would consider that to be 3 servings of juice, whereas the consumer thinks it's in 1 serving container. That's a serving size.
Instilling good nutrition habits goes hand in glove with being active, which for Tompkins doesn't always mean exercise.
Good job, y'all. Any movement is activity. 2, 1. If they go out and garden, that's activity. That counts in your exercise. So I think part of our job is to demonstrate to people that it doesn't have to be walking on the treadmill 30 minutes a day, every day. So there's some science behind the exercise, which is what we study with the VO2 max or the metabolism, but exercise can just be fun. In position.
Maintaining a healthy weight and building skills to eat healthy does require practice. But what it really takes is work.
No matter what your body weight, you have to work at staying fit because of the culture that we live in, which is where there's food everywhere. There's the vending machine food. There's all these different foods that aren't necessarily designed to improve our health and well-being. And so it does take work.
And it's really calories in, calories out. So if one part of that equation doesn't quite fit as in terms of your calories in, but you're not exercising, those calories just sort of stay in. So it's a balancing act, and we try to work together to let people know that it's really living an overall healthy lifestyle.
Running, resting, and eating right. It's how a body works to maintain a healthy lifestyle through the Reward Teens Weight Management Program. At the University of Vermont, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
Well, thanks, Keith. With me now are the two professionals who guide the UVM Pediatric Weight Management Program, Connie Tompkins and Amy Nickerson. Thanks so much for being with us. Connie, take us a step back from the video. Can you give us sort of a sketch of what the Reward Teens Pediatric Weight Management Program is all about?
Sure. It's a group program where we work for 12 weeks together. It includes nutrition education, physical activity education, and underlying both of those is behavior change. So it's a group setting where we work with the child and at least one parent and peer support as well.
Now, there are weekly meetings as part of the program?
There are. And we meet once a week for about 2 hours. And during that time, we usually cover a little bit of everything, a little bit of physical activity, a little bit of nutrition, and we usually do some activity as well.
And so why is the program in a group setting rather than one-on-one?
To get that interaction, the peer support for one, but also the family support, that you're not the only one going through this. There's other people who are in the same boat. And to learn different ideas on how to change certain habits or what's worked for one family might work for another. They can share ideas.
And so a parent attends, and is that just to share the information? Because I assume in a household it's the parents who are buying the food mostly.
That's part of it, but what it is, you're changing your whole sort of lifestyle and a behavior. It's not just, you can't focus on the child alone. It's a family dynamic, so the whole family has to be on board to support the child to lose weight. But at the same token, we're not giving any stringent diets that the whole family couldn't follow.
So, Amy, tell us about some of the food strategies that the program promotes.
Some of the food strategies include, from the get-go, we ask them to keep food records because it's such an important part of a successful weight management program. So we're asking them, we help them to learn how to estimate portion sizes, whether they actually pull out a measuring cup or we give them some visuals like a ping pong ball or a tennis ball, or a computer mouse to try and gauge when they're away from the home and they can't actually have those measuring cups with them. So we're teaching them about portion size. We're also teaching them about mindful eating, which there's a lot out in the news these days about being aware of what you eat. Many people have heard about putting your fork down after each bite that you take, finish chewing the bite, and then pick your fork up again. And a lot of that relates, the success of that strategy helps you to be aware of the taste that you're experiencing. So we call that mindful eating. Some of the other strategies are trying to encourage the participants to drink plain water because we find that that's a forgotten commodity in a number of these families. They're all buying bottled, sweetened vitamin beverages, sodas, juice drinks, Crystal Lights. And then there's the whole idea of planning in advance. We really spend a lot of time troubleshooting, well, what if you're at a party with a group of your friends hanging out? So we have actually a 12-week curriculum. So each week we have a few goals and objectives that we want to achieve. And another big component is the goal setting piece. We help these kids to not only set goals related to their food intake, but also the physical activity piece. And everybody, our culture has nurtured this sense of set big goals, like I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, for example, which is very unrealistic. And so we try and break it down. Our goal setting is not so much based on the weight that they lose, it's more on food behavior changes that they make and physical activity changes that they can make, so that we're gradually nudging them towards a healthier lifestyle for the whole family.
So this is different from just going on a diet then?
That's right. We're trying to instill behaviors that they could follow their whole life, because you can't be on a diet your whole life. You can't say you're going to work out an hour every single day for the rest of your life. Everything is in moderation and fitting healthy behaviors into your entire life, not just for this 3-month period.
If I could just add too, that I think the very notion of going on a diet suggests that you will go off a diet. And so
well, you do though. I mean, that's the point. You achieve
exactly
the goal, and then you say, okay, I can now go back to doing whatever I want to do.
And then we call that relapse, where you go right back to where you were. And in many cases, you actually gain more than you originally lost. That's part of the rebound effect. But so rather than calling it a diet, we just keep referring to it as a healthy meal plan, and the family can eat this way. And the relapse phenomenon makes me think, too, that one of the important messages that we send to the families, the children who are participating or the teens and their parents, is that it's okay to set a goal and not meet your goal. And we don't want the participants to get into this mindset of, oh, I didn't meet my goal today, I'm a failure, and so I'm just going to abandon the whole thing. And I think that's part of an additional benefit to having a group setting, is that the other participants can hear that, oh, they're not perfect either, because we're not looking for perfection. We want to help these participants learn that part of life is that you do well towards your goals some days, and then you may fall short of that, but the important thing is that you get back on track the next day.
And so what happens if they do meet their goals?
We give lots of positive reinforcement. A lot of times we'll give physical activity equipment, balls or resistance bands, things to help them stretch or just be active, certain nutrition items.
And so what observations have you made about the food and physical activity environment for the teens and the families that have participated so far?
A lot of our job consists of dispelling some of the myths and rumors out there that, particularly for physical activity, that if you're not going all out and feel like your heart's about to pump out of your chest, then it's not worth it.
Right.
When really you could do small amounts, slowly build up over time, and you will see some payoff to it, and that you can be healthy and you can get health results from those small little bouts of activity.
On the food side, some of the observations that we've made are that it's very striking that families aren't sitting down to eat dinner together anymore. And there's a lot of research that suggests that that's very important in terms of establishing healthy eating behaviors within the family. And it's because of the lifestyle we live. Mom and dad are both working, and so there might be a crock pot of something to help yourself to when you get home at the end of the day. But there's little sense of you all come together and chat about your day and model healthy eating behaviors.
Mm-hmm. And so too, there's the whole clean plate club aspect of food eating and such. And so I guess it's a whole different philosophy to think, well, you don't have to clean your plate, but just when you're full or you feel like you're full, stop eating.
And that taps into this whole mindful eating phenomenon where you're aware of hunger and then you're aware that you've had enough to eat. And so we also talk about, it takes the brain about 20 minutes to register that, oh, I'm having something to eat and I should feel full after this. And so we're trying to really get the participants and their parents, because quite often the parents have a weight problem as well, but to teach everybody how to tune into their internal signals for hunger and satiety. And one of the a successful strategy for that is to simply use smaller plates, serve smaller amounts of food. If somebody wants seconds, they could go and get seconds if they're still hungry. But if you serve a large portion of food on a plate, we will all eat it just because we're creatures of habit. Interesting.
So you mentioned too the keeping a journal of what you're eating. What's done with that information?
Well, that's a good question. What we have 2 nutrition graduate students and a couple of exercise physiology students. My students look at the food records, and the participants are asked to record everything they eat and drink every day of the program, 12 weeks. Not everybody meets that high standard, but what the students will look at is the quantity of food, the types of food, the time of day that they've eaten the food, how did they feel. Again, we're trying to work with these participants to tune into, do they eat when they're bored? So the participants have to look at, or they have to record all of that information, and then we, the students, are looking and picking behaviors that the participants have, and that's where we establish what might be a goal for the following week.
Interesting. Well, we're just about out of time. Connie, how can someone get more information about the program?
They can contact me. My phone number is 802-656-3817, or they can email me at connie.tompkins@uvm.edu.
And you're always looking for more participants?
We always are 12 to 18-year-olds, and yeah,
And
every
their
3
families.
months.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Interesting stuff. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.
For a video copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-ATF-3430. Across the Fence is brought to you as a public service by University of Vermont Extension and WCAX-TV.